but I can't. Um, Hello. I'm Remy, and we're gonna watch the worst communities on Reddit. Um, Reddit is a place. Oh wait, hold on. I need to. I need to fix this. Hello. Today we're gonna watch the worst communities on Reddit. Now, if you don't know, well, actually, it's not like it was that long ago. But I did some Reddit reactions, and I'll probably still end up doing some Reddit reactions, um, sometime soon. But I those are the only things that I do. I only go to like the am I the a hole or am I the devil or relationship advice, those type of subreddits. That's like I don't stay on Reddit to like scroll on Reddit. I'm only on there to read the stories, and that's it. Like I don't post on there or like look at memes or anything like that. But today, we're gonna watch this video on the worst communities in Reddit. I will put the um uh, um, um, I will put the video in the description. Make sure you all like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started in watching this video. Oop, that didn't work.
Itself the front page of the internet, but scroll deep enough and you'll find horrible communities that feel more like the dark web. Today we'll look at some of the worst groups Reddit has ever seen. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality. To do that, we got to keep growing. So 68% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it would mean the world to me.
Subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, subscribe.
If you didn't, and I promise to give you more fire content. I'm Visual Venture. You are awesome. r/shoplifting. Most people feel guilty when they steal, but this subreddit turns stealing into something to be proud of. The subreddit was called Shoplifting. It was like a boot camp for thieves. There were posts showing what to wear so security wouldn't notice you stealing. Another post explained how to remove security tags, and one listed the stores that were easiest
You
to
know,
shoplift.
there's a thing called the 5 finger discount. um, Actually, I won't say more, but like, if you know, you know, and support small businesses. Um, we don't like big corpo. Anyway,
From. They weren't just teaching you how to steal, they were encouraging it. But soon, things started getting messy. Since anyone could join, a few people showed up just to post warnings. They tried to talk sense into the group, explaining how shoplifting was wrong. But the others didn't want to hear it. They wanted to feel good about breaking the law. So the subreddit cracked down hard. They made strict rules. The first rule was called moralizing. Here's how they explained it. Stealing is bad. We get it. Nothing else needs to be said about it, and we're all right with the morality of our actions. They even called themselves a wonderful community of allegedly corrupt and soulless individuals. This meant no preaching, no guilt tripping, no criticizing shoplifters. If you broke that rule, your post got deleted and you got banned. No second chances. But moralizing was just one rule out of 6. Another rule was about pictures. Members posted pictures of the stuff they stole. Groceries,
wow.
makeup, electronics, anything they could get
their
hands
so
on.
quick, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. I feel like it might be too loud. No thanks. Um, in certain states, depending on what you steal, and the amount that you steal, it's a felony. So let's not go around committing felonies, because if you're in the U.S., felonies change your life. Felonies ruin your life. You will no longer be able to travel. You cannot vote. Um, and housing is hard to get. Jobs are hard to get. Let's not do that. You know? Yeah. Let's stick to that.
Creators wanted the pictures to be educational, so they made a rule called lack of information. It said all posts must now include a short description on how the items were lifted. Violation is removal of post.
Also, if you watch, um, uh, what is his name? Not Legal Eagle. Um, Bruce Willis. Bruce Rivers. If you watch Bruce la, 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 la. If you watch Bruce Rivers, his whole thing is that he's a criminal lawyer, and his motto is stop self snitching. So why people commit their crimes on the internet, we'll never know. But this is a form of self snitching. So like maybe don't post your crimes on the internet if you're going to don't commit crimes, but don't post your crimes if you are going to commit them. That seems like common sense.
Then there was Rule 6. It was about violence. Advocating violence is unacceptable. We might have criminal intent, but there is no desire to physically harm another person. This
Okay,
was like a
that's
support group for thieves, and members
immoral.
were genuinely happy. One even wrote, "This feels like a best friend group chat. I love you all so much." As messed up as that sounds, the community kept growing. At its peak, it had over 77,000 members. But soon, people outside the group
A whole bunch of
started hearing about
kleptos.
it. Major vlogs and news sites picked up the story. Obviously, the general public wasn't okay with a community teaching 77,000 people how to shoplift. Reddit had to step in. In 2018, Reddit updated its content policy. They added a new rule that banned users from promoting stolen goods. The shoplifting subreddit clearly broke that rule. So in March 2018, Reddit shut it down permanently. The subreddit lasted 9 years before getting banned. And in that time, it probably helped.
Dang, the kleptos lost their community. They lost their community.
Thousands of people get into shoplifting. This next group tried to do something good, but they ended up making a mess. r/find Boston suspects.
Huh.
For the sake of YouTube, we'll be calling the subreddit Find Boston Suspects, not the other word. In April 2013, a tragedy hit America hard. It happened during the Boston Marathon.
I didn't know this was
running through the streets.
a
Suddenly,
thing. I didn't know they did
explosions
this.
went off near the finish line. Dozens were injured and some didn't make it. The FBI launched an investigation to find out who was responsible.
Make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this.
But while the feds worked the case, some people on Reddit thought they could solve it faster than the cops. So they created a subreddit called Find Boston Suspects. But instead of helping, they became the internet's worst detectives. The group started...
And that's the thing, like, there are some communities, I believe Crime Stoppers is one of them. Some places that do have something come out of the investigations and stuff that they do. And they're kind of like Crime Stoppers, right? But it's the internet, right? So people are going to put their own bias onto things and not have any evidence to exactly back that up. So, so having a group of people, that want to solve something come together, while it can be a good thing, it can also be, it can also turn bad very quickly. And it can cause, false accusations, false suspects, people putting their own bias on the people because they in some way, shape, or form don't like them. Stuff like that can happen.
By analyzing photos from the event.
Much of the activity on this page involved Redditors scanning over blurry and grainy images that were taken from the Boston Marathon in an attempt to find a suspect.
They zoomed in on backpacks, they circled random faces, they looked for anything suspicious. Then they started pointing fingers with very little proof. Their first suspect was a 17-year-old runner named Salah. Members of the subreddit were convinced that Salah and his coach looked suspicious. The coach had a backpack which they thought contained the devices. So the group spread their photos online, accusing them of being the suspect.
And it's also like, this man has a backpack. It's a marathon. There's a lot that you need to have in order to run a marathon in forms of supplies, in forms of supplies. I'm not sure if they provide water. I imagine that they do, but in forms of supplies, med kit, all the other stuff, there's a lot that you need to have in order to actually run a marathon. So there were a whole bunch of people there with backpacks that day.
Even the New York Post put Salah and his coach on the front page. But there was a big problem. Salah was completely innocent. He was so scared for his safety that he
Right.
went straight to the police to clear his name. Luckily, he
Yeah.
was able to prove that he had nothing to do with the incident. But the Fine Boston Suspects community wasn't done causing trouble. On April 18th, 2013, the FBI released photos of the real suspects. But there was another problem. The photos were blurry, so the faces were
course.
hard to make out. And once again, the subreddit didn't wait. They rushed to blame someone else. The subreddit
Right.
compared the blurry FBI photos to random people on social media. That's when someone brought up a man named Sunil. Sunil was a 22-year-old student who went missing a month before the incident. And just like that, the group decided he must be one of the suspects. They posted his name, they shared his photos, and they spread the accusation
And-
across the internet.
I know I'm pausing a lot, but imagine being that kid's family. Your son or your grandson or your cousin or whoever has gone missing, right? And because they may look, like a pixelated image, they're now the suspect of a horrific event. And people are just like attacking them and putting their face on everything. People need to realize, and I zoom in. You are not an investigator. You are not the investigator or the investigation team, the FBI, whoever was put on the case. You are not them. So, while sometimes this may be helpful, sometimes stuff like this may be helpful, it is not in cases such as these where false accusations can have people thinking that their son or a member of their family has committed a horrific crime and they've been missing for over a month. It can ruin people's lives and cause people to be harassed, because I'm pretty sure that his family might have started being harassed, right? Because that's just what the internet does. Do not do this unless you have 100% concrete evidence and you are the investigators. And even investigators, even police, even the FBI, even the CIA, they make mistakes. That's the end of my TED Talk. Thank you.
To them, Sunil wasn't missing, he was hiding.
Police believe this new image from a surveillance camera shows the 22-year-old just moments after leaving his campus apartment.
Sunil's family created a Facebook page to find him, but after the rumor spread, that page was flooded with hate. They accused the family of hiding a terrorist. The harassment was so bad that the family deleted the Facebook page. Somehow, that only made things worse. Now, people were sure they were hiding something. Even journalists started repeating the rumor. One phrase started trending, "We did it, Reddit." It was what people said when Reddit cracked a big case. But they were completely wrong. On April 19th, the truth came out. The FBI found the real suspects and arrested them. Sunil was innocent. The Fine Boston Suspects subreddit destroyed his reputation for nothing. After the truth came out, Sunil's family was furious. Reddit later apologized to Sunil's family. Then they...
And it's like, you can apologize. You can apologize, but at the end of the day, the damage is still done. So, they may have never found him because they had to take down that page.
banned the Fine Boston Suspects subreddit, but it was too late. Because of a wild internet humor, his family was humiliated.
We, knew unconvincingly that this was not Sunil, and it was just very difficult to have the events of that night unfold so aggressively.
Sadly, the story didn't end there. Even though everyone now knew Sunil had nothing to do with the incident, he was still missing. Just days later, police found Sunil lifeless near his school. That meant he wasn't even alive when the incident happened.
Oh, that hurt my heart. Oh, I need a moment. Sorry, I'm a very sensitive person as of late.
Boston Suspects subreddit didn't conduct an investigation. They led a witch hunt. It was horrible that 2 innocent people were tracked down as if they were suspects. r/JB. For the sake of our channel staying safe from the YouTube hammer, we'll be calling this subreddit JB. The JB subreddit was full of creeps. Urban Dictionary defines JB as a girl who is too young, but still seen as attractive. From that definition alone, it's obvious.
What do you mean?
Obvious what this community was about. Members of this group posted suggestive photos of young females. A lot of the images were stolen from Instagram, Facebook, and school websites. Some were even taken with hidden cameras. What these men were doing was disgusting, but they weren't hiding it, not even a little. In fact, JB was famous.
The subreddit was extremely popular on the website. So popular that it even won Subreddit of the Year
Okay.
in 2008 by a user poll.
Let that sink
That's
in.
what that
JB
means.
won
Okay.
Subreddit of the Year. That means people actively voted for it. At one point, JB was the second most searched term on Reddit. That brings up the obvious question. How did Reddit allow this community to exist? When Reddit first launched,
Yeah.
there were barely any rules. Users could post almost anything as long as it wasn't illegal. That's because Reddit's founders believed in free speech, and they defended that belief even when it came to JB.
Reddit's general manager at the time, Eric Martin, said that while he was disturbed by this group, it's not the place of Reddit to censor the users.
Reddit bosses said having to stomach questionable subreddits like JB are part of the
Reddit
price
used to
of
be like
free speech
4chan.
on a site like this. Surprisingly, many people agreed. They were scared that if Reddit banned one community, it would start banning more, and that would kill free speech on the site. But then CNN got involved, and things got more complicated. In September 2011, a CNN reporter called Reddit out on national TV. He criticized them for hosting a community full of creeps. That report turned millions of people against JB and Reddit. You would think that would get JB banned, but the opposite happened. The CNN spotlight made JB more popular.
Okay. I'm gonna press play. I can't. I haven't. Speechless.
Very next day, JB got 1.7 million views in a single day. That was the most attention the group ever received. JB seemed untouchable. Then one post brought everything crashing down. In October 2011, someone uploaded a new picture to the group, but the real problem wasn't the photo. It was a comment underneath it. The user claimed they had content of the same girl, and they were willing to share it in private messages. Dozens of members reached out to him asking for the files. The post stayed up long enough for people to screenshot it, and those screenshots spread beyond Reddit. That was the final straw. That was an actual crime. That night, Reddit banned JB. By 8 p.m. Eastern Time, anyone who tried accessing the subreddit saw this message. The subreddit has been shut down due to threatening the structural integrity of the greater Reddit community. For some, the ban was long overdue. For others, it felt like the end of free speech. But looking back, it's obvious what JB really was. A community
No, it's not the end of free speech. You're just a creep.
As terrible behavior. This next Reddit community seemed like a joke, but they caused real pain to lots of innocent people. r/Herman Cain Award. This group was accused of mocking the dead. It was like they celebrated when someone passed away. Sounds insane, but if you understand how the group started, it begins to make sense. The subreddit was called Herman Cain Award. It was named after U.S. politician Herman Cain. In early 2020, Herman Cain called the COVID pandemic fake news. Herman Cain kept attending crowded events. Weeks later, in July 2020, Herman Cain got sick and passed away soon after. 2 months later, the Herman Cain Award subreddit was created, but it wasn't made to honor how he lived.
What was happening back in 2020 when people didn't believe COVID was a thing? I don't understand. It was the people that didn't believe COVID was real, and then the people that just didn't want to wear masks, the anti-maskers. And then everybody started taking toilet paper. That baffles me to this day. That is a crazy part of history, and people are gonna look back on this in like 50 years and be so confused. 'Cause I'm confused.
It was created to mock how he died. The goal of the subreddit was simple. It shared stories of people who denied COVID and then got infected and didn't survive. Each post followed a formula. You'd see a screenshot of someone downplaying the pandemic or refusing the vaccine. Then you'd get an update from the same person announcing they've caught the flu. And the last screenshot revealed the person's fate. If the person survived the illness, the post was labeled nominated. If they changed their mind and got vaccinated, it was labeled redemption. And if they passed away, they were awarded. That meant they received the so-called Herman Cain Award. By 2021,
Damn,
the media
trolls
heard
be
about the Herman
trolling.
Cain Award, and they called out the subreddit for being heartless. Families who lost someone would come online only to find their loved one turned into Reddit content.
But by maintaining a subreddit like this, you're cheering for it, right? You want the next story to come in. And beyond that, it's just incredibly disrespectful for the mourning families.
The subreddit's defenders said it wasn't about celebrating death. To them, it was about showing the danger of misinformation.
They only award people, right, given the Herman Cain Award, to people who were actively propagating, spreading, and parading extreme misinformation.
Members of the group took things too far. They tracked down grieving family members
Okay.
on Facebook. Then they
Okay.
sent nasty messages mocking the deceased
All right.
relative.
Okay. It's a different thing to post people that were, so anti-vaxxers or anti-mask or anti-pandemic. And then it's another thing to go after the people's families that are, grieving that person, because people's families aren't them. They didn't make that decision to, not believe in the pandemic or not believe in the vaccination or not believe in wearing a mask. They didn't make that decision. The person did. Granted, the people that made the subreddit have way too much time on their hands, especially if they're, listening to constant updates on these people. Like, you got way too much time on your hands to be doing this. And then to proceed to go after their family, it's jobless behavior.
It was like they were intentionally trying to cause pain. By that point, the subreddit started to seem more like a mob. The harassment got so bad that the subreddit's moderators had to intervene. They issued warnings and banned members who harassed grieving family members. However, many members didn't see anything wrong with the harassment. It became a huge debate within the group. Today, this subreddit is still active and it has about 500,000 members. To some, it's a wake-up call. To most, it's none other than harassment. This next subreddit was so bad it caught the attention of federal agents. r/darknet markets.
Yeah, okay.
The FBI has seized control of a controversial website which made buying drugs as easy as going to the store.
In October 2013, the FBI shut down Silk Road. It was a website where people bought illegal stuff like substances, fake IDs, and stolen credit cards. People even ordered hitmen on Silk Road. If you want to know more about this website, check out the whole documentary I created about it. When Silk Road disappeared, it left a vacuum. Thousands of people were searching for the next place to get illegal goods. So someone created a Reddit group to solve that problem. It was called Darknet Markets. Darknet Markets didn't sell anything illegal, but it told you where to find it. The group was where dealers, hackers, and cyber criminals would hang out and talk about what happened on illicit marketplaces. If someone wanted to buy substances online, all they had to do was scroll through the subreddit, and they would find recommendations on the best places to buy from. It even had tutorials on how to spot undercover cops and how to buy illegal stuff without leaving a paper trail. And it wasn't a small group. The subreddit grew to 160,000 members. But with that many people, they weren't exactly flying under the radar. By 2015, federal agents heard about the group, so they started monitoring, waiting for one person to slip up so they could swoop in. In 2015, the feds made a move. They sent Reddit an order demanding personal information for 5 members of the Darknet Markets group. Those users were linked to a new black market called Evolution, and the FBI wanted to arrest them. Reddit wouldn't say if they gave the FBI the information or not. They stayed totally silent after the
supply and demand. If there's a demand, there's going to be a supply. I don't condone this at all. And doing this on Reddit is insane. Doing it at all is insane, really. But, the dark web does exist.
request, the community panicked. people stopped posting, activity dropped fast. Then in 2018, 3 years after the FBI's request, Reddit updated its policy. The new policy banned users from promoting illegal goods and services.
Yeah.
Now, markets are clearly
as they should have done
ready for that.
before.
So in March 2018, Reddit banned them. This next subreddit created a problem for the entire world. r/deepfakes. The subreddit changed the internet forever, but not in a good way. The group was created by a Reddit user who went by the name Deepfakes, and in 2017, he discovered a creepy new way to use AI. He would take the faces of female celebrities and put them onto adult videos. The results were so realistic, people thought the videos were real.
It's very difficult to convince people that that isn't you, because if it looks like you, it might as well be you.
Soon,
Right.
the Reddit user created a Reddit community to show off his work. He named it after himself, Deepfakes. And once again, for the sake of YouTube, we'll be calling it Fakes. Within 2 months, the subreddit had 15,000 members. The group was filled with AI videos of celebrities. But soon, people didn't just want to watch celebrities. They uploaded photos of real people they knew and asked for AI videos of them.
Yeah.
Some stuff that I saw online was people requesting deepfakes of their sister.
Ah.
So they can use that to blackmail.
I've well, not recently, it was like a few months ago, watched a video about this happening in South Korea. I think it was a Rotten Mango video about kids in high schools doing this to like their teachers and their classmates and stuff. This AI stuff is getting out of hand. Because where there is good, there's going to be a whole bunch of bad. And unfortunately, not all of it can be regulated because, like I said, if there's a demand, there's going to be a supply. I hate that this is a thing. I hate that there's not really much that we can do about it other than, you know, just catch people and put them in jail, but they're still going to do it. So this is just horrendous.
Them requesting deepfakes of family members, of their teachers.
Eventually, that wasn't enough too. The members wanted to learn how to make the fake videos themselves. At this point, Fakes was no longer one guy's username. It became the term for inappropriate videos made using AI.
Yeah.
The term was born in Reddit when members of a group called Deepfake used AI to put celebrities' faces on actors.
But making fakes was hard. You needed a powerful computer and coding skills, but that was about to change. In 2018, a member of the subreddit released a software called FakeApp. FakeApp made creating fakes as easy as clicking a few buttons. Just upload the picture and let the AI do the rest. Now anyone could make a fake. FakeApp spread like wildfire far beyond Reddit. On January 24th, 2018, a blog published an article exposing the subreddit. They pretty much blamed the group for kickstarting the AI video epidemic.
Right.
The article went viral. People were furious and Reddit couldn't ignore it anymore. 2 weeks later, Reddit banned the fake subreddit. They also uploaded their
it's
policy
too late
to
for
ban
that.
all involuntary inappropriate content. However, it was too late. Even after the ban, FakeApp continued to spread. And today, Fakes blackmail is still a huge problem online. This next subreddit turned tragedy into entertaining content. r/Watch People Die. Watch People Die, or WPD, was exactly what it sounded like. It was a community where members could watch real videos of people losing their lives.
What do you mean?
The subreddit started in 2012, and the content was disturbing. Members claimed the group showed the unfiltered reality of death. But why would anyone want to watch that? One member said it wasn't a place where we laugh and make fun of people's deaths. The reason we keep coming back is because it really shows us how precious life is. Another claimed that watching workplace accidents made them more careful on the job. But that didn't change the fact that it operated like a page filled with shock, full of videos of ordinary people losing their lives. At first, Reddit ignored WPD's shocking content. Then, in September 2018, Reddit placed the group under quarantine. That meant WPD's posts were hidden from Reddit's front page. Only the group's members could see the content. Even in quarantine, WPD kept growing. By 2019, it had more than 400,000 members. However, with the kind of content being shared, it was only a matter of time before WPD got in trouble. And that moment came in March 2019. In March 2019, a tragedy in New Zealand led to multiple fatalities. The attacker live streamed the incident on Facebook, and the footage quickly spread across the internet. Eventually, it reached the WPD subreddit. This was exactly the kind of video WPD existed for, so they posted it. But the footage was too graphic. And out of respect for the victims and their families, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube scrubbed it from their platforms.
Right.
But WPD didn't. While other sites took it down, WPD kept the video up, and people were furious. Internet users begged WPD to remove it out of respect for the grieving families. But WPD didn't listen. Instead, they locked the thread. Then they posted this message: the video stays up until someone censors us. The video is being scrubbed from major social media platforms, but hopefully Reddit believes in letting you decide for yourself whether or not you want to see unfiltered reality. At that point, it was WPD versus the world. Since WPD wouldn't budge, people put pressure on Reddit. And this time the pressure worked. A few hours after WPD posted that message, Reddit banned WPD. The ban was for posting content that incites or glorifies violence. The ban was a long time coming, because turning people's final moments into content was just disrespectful. These Reddit communities didn't just exist. They grew because people kept watching. But when you constantly look at the worst parts of the internet, it starts to feel normal. So my friends, protect your sense of what's right and wrong, because once you lose it, it's hard to get it back.
And that is true. Immorality is a thing, right? Unfortunately, you know, due to certain things being shown on the internet, you can get desensitized to them. But you can allow yourself to not see those things. I don't see like the particularly degenerate parts of the internet because I don't want to. Some things do slip through every once in a while, and I'm like, what the hell is that? But I never go too far into it. I don't interact with those type of posts. I'm talking about like political stuff and really degenerate like internet memes and stuff like that. Like, I don't, if it comes across my page, I don't interact with it, therefore I don't see it again. If you see anything like this, hopefully you're not getting anything like this on your pages or on any of your social media. I know I have not, but hopefully you have not either. And if you do, you can either block that person so that you never see it again, or just don't interact with it so that it doesn't pop up on your page anymore. But let's not be horrible people. Let's be, you know, as human as we possibly can. Let's keep our morals intact. But thank you all for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you guys later. Bye.